50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
In the fall of 2007, the fourth entry in the Call of Duty franchise took the series in a whole new direction by shifting the setting from World War II to a more modern military setting. The game was a tremendous success and showed that audiences were ready for war games to shift to a more modern setting, something that the entertainment industry generally shied away from given the then ongoing wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. But in March of 2008, Electronic Arts came along and dropped what on the surface looked like a generic third-person military shooter for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. But those who played it instead found a game full of unique combat features, tongue-in-cheek customization options, and one of the most memorable cooperative experiences available on the 7th generation of consoles. Because while other games focused on making the player feel like a one-man army, EA wanted you to team up with a partner to form an army of two. I'd like to take this moment to thank my channel members for supporting me. You can join these operatives on screen for only $1 a month. Army of Two was developed by EA Montreal, a studio that had previously only made random spin-offs for SSX, Skate, and a handful of other sports games. The team there was very familiar with porting sports games to the Nintendo Wii, so it's only a natural fit for EA to put them on a tactical third-person military shooter. When it released, it only garnered pretty okay reviews, mostly in the 7s and 8s, but it was at least a commercial success, and it would go on to sell nearly 2.5 million copies by the end of 2009. EA would go on to make 2 sequels, with the third entry selling so poorly that the franchise is unlikely to make a return. Fans still hold out hope for a return given the incredible potential set forth by the first 2 entries. Now, I know a lot of the time I play games that have been on my backlog, but Army of Two, this one hasn't been on my backlog. This is one that I definitely played when it first came out. This one holds a special place in my heart. Just seeing that cover art immediately takes me back to the days of sitting on the couch and playing co-op with my older brother. It also takes me back to when I would just tell friends about it on Xbox Live, and then they would get it and we would play through the entire campaign in co-op. But I really haven't played it since those days, so I wanted to get this one, fire it up, play it on the hardest difficulty to unlock the achievement for beating on the hardest difficulty, and see if it still holds up to what I remember. And it turns out that I still have my old saves on my Xbox 360 hard drive, so I was able to jump in with a lot of the unlocks and the customization already done for me. And I also realize now that I don't think I've played the sequels to this one. I mean, I'm pretty sure I played the 40th day, but I can't remember anything other than the start of the game and no other details about it. So I'm kind of interested in picking that one up and picking up the Devil's Cartel, which I know I haven't played, and playing those and reviewing them for the channel. So if you're interested in seeing either of those 2 games, let me know in the comments below. The story revolves around Tyson Rios and Elliot Salem, 2 U.S. Army Ranger soldiers turned private military contractors for the Security and Strategy Corporation known as SSC. The 2 wear these thick body armors and these badass masks. After the events in 2001, and I am gonna say it that way because for some reason YouTube demonetizes any discussion about those events to the point where I'm pretty sure they're just trying to wipe its existence from the internet. After the events in 2001, which surprisingly are actually depicted with real news footage, the 2 are deployed to various locales on their mission to stop the terrorists. Back home, a bill has been introduced in Congress that would provide even more funding and reliance on private military contractors. The leader of the SSC, Dalton, is of course lobbying hard for the bill to pass despite the opposition led by Senator Whitehorse. Along the way, Rios and Salem discover that Dalton has been leaking U.S. forces troop positions to the enemy in an attempt to drum up support for the bill. And in one of their missions in China, the duo are ordered to destroy a bridge as a convoy passes it, which unbeknownst to them holds Senator Whitehorse. Salem and Rios are framed for the murder, and the pair find themselves needing to clear their name and take down SSC. So as you can tell, the story is all about private military contractors. It's definitely a game from that era where Blackwater was really dominating the news cycles. And there are a lot of games that actually came out around that time that had private military contractors as the villains. Army of Two is a third-person shooter, and it does use cover system, but it's not a hard cover system like you'd find in Gears of War where you snap to cover. Instead, you can move freely and you can aim over and around cover when the game detects that you're near a cover object. You can even blind fire above the cover or around the edges and the corners. The cover system is actually kind of frustrating. There isn't a button mapped that lets you switch the shoulder that you're aiming over like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter had. And since this isn't a hard cover system, you can't force it to aim out of the left side of cover like you could very easily in Gears of War. Instead, the camera detects when you're pointing at the left side of cover and it will automatically swap sides. And there's a little bit of delay that makes it feel really finicky and unresponsive. And since this isn't a hard cover system, there's no ability to just quickly switch between two cover positions like you'd find in Gears of War. Instead, you can run out into the open and you can press the Y button to have your character slide into a cover position. When the game detects that you're in cover and you pull the trigger to aim, your character will pop out of cover to aim. And I know you're probably saying like, yeah, no shit, what do you expect? But really the problem is that since you aren't pressed against the cover, you kind of get into this habit of just corner peeking and staying maybe 3 or 4 feet away from the cover object. And if the game thinks that you're in cover, you'll end up exposing your entire body and getting riddled with bullets rather than just having your gun peek around the corner. And when you're on the hardest difficulty, it only takes a few shots to send you reeling. But thankfully, the blind firing is remarkably accurate, so you'll be using that most of the time anyway. Army of Two's main features start right there in the title. The focus on two characters working together serves as the DNA that courses through every enemy encounter, every weapon selection, and the systems that underpin the whole experience. Throughout the levels, you'll be assisting each other to reach high ledges, to open doors, and to push objects, but really it all comes down to the combat. If one of you goes down, the other can drag the downed teammate to safety in order to revive them. And while they're being dragged, the downed player can lay down suppressive fire with their full weapon loadout instead of just their pistol like most games would normally have. And this gets really hilarious when you get to see your teammate firing a minigun while they're being dragged to safety. You can also swap weapons with each other at the press of a button, and you can go into a co-op snipe mode where you both snipe at a target at the same time. And this co-op snipe ability gets reinforced through the story objectives, which I always appreciate when features get reinforced through the actual gameplay and the story. Some of the objectives end up requiring Rios and Salem to synchronize snipe certain targets. And if that weren't enough, they also put in this completely useless but hilarious feature to let you dap up your partner. Or if you're a little frustrated at what they were doing, you can walk up to them and pull the right trigger to headbutt them and get your anger out. And they even program the partner AI to retaliate when you do that.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
A few of the missions include the two parachuting to their objective. One partner will ride on the other's chest like they're in one of those baby carriers. The person on the front can aim and shoot at enemies all the way down. And if you end up playing this alone with the AI, you can even use the D-pad to tell the AI to speed up, slow down, or move left or right. Throughout the levels, you can also find riot shields where one player holds the shield and provides mobile cover for the other. And there are these epic buddy cop movie moments where you go back to back, circling around each other and shooting at the approaching enemies in slow motion. But the main feature is this aggro meter system that really emphasizes cooperation. When one of you is shooting, you'll gain aggro, drawing the enemy's attention. The player that doesn't have aggro is nigh invisible to the enemy, and you can sneak around the battlefield to get the drop on enemies. This isn't just useful for dealing with the normal enemies and getting flanking positions on them, but it's a necessity for dealing with the armored enemies and the turrets that have to be shot in the back. If one of you gets your aggro meter fully filled, you can enter into an overkill mode that gives you 2 times damage, slows down time, and it makes your partner completely invisible. But unfortunately, it doesn't make you invulnerable, so you can't expect to go in full guns blazing. Different guns will earn aggro at different rates, and I think it's about time we talk about the different guns. Since you are a private contractor, completing objectives means funds get transferred to your bank account. Throughout the missions, there are some optional objectives that get relayed to you over the comms. You can complete these to earn more money, things like finding more intel, killing certain targets, that sort of thing. Between missions and at certain checkpoints, you'll be able to shop at the black market to purchase new weapons and to customize your gear. There's a ton of weapons to choose from standard assault rifles to even a minigun. You also have a special weapon slot for a sniper rifle or for a rocket launcher, and you have a pistol slot. Each slot has the same level of customization. The customization is one of the coolest parts about this whole game. Each weapon has different stocks, barrels, undermounts, silencers, and even magazine upgrades to purchase. But strangely, there's no scopes or sight attachments, not even lasers. You're always stuck with the same zoom level unless you're using a sniper rifle. But at least you can add a shield. Go figure. Yes, it's a pretty simple system, with each successive upgrade being better than the previous, but that's part of why I really enjoyed it. It's not super deep, it's not super complex, and there's not really a meta to each weapon and attachment that's better than the others. It's really easy to follow, and it keeps you thinking, can't wait to have enough cash to unlock that next upgrade. Each gun also has a visual customization, but unfortunately there's only one option available. There's no weapon skins, there's no camos, nothing like that. Instead, you can choose to pimp out each gun, turning it into a solid silver or gold variant. If you really want to draw all of the enemy aggro, just equip the pimped out silver and gold minigun. As for the character customization, it's all cosmetic with no in-game effects. There are 3 body armor variants and a selection of masks. One thing I found kind of funny is how the masks are so low res in the menu when you're looking at which one you want to purchase and equip, but they look 10 times better in game. And thankfully, this was before microtransactions, so all of this was free and in-game. The team at EA Montreal also implemented a pretty advanced partner AI system if you don't have any friends to play with. Unfortunately, the online servers were turned off in 2014 and you can't play online co-op anymore, so it's either couch co-op or you have to play it alone with the AI companion. The AI is really useful at times and really brain dead when you need them to have even a room temp IQ. More than a few times, mine would drag me into the line of fire instead of into cover to try to revive me. And sometimes he would just stand out in the open firing, even though I told him to hold position. But most of the time, the AI was pretty okay and serviceable. You don't get to issue direct orders. Instead, you have the option to issue only 3 orders, either regroup, advance, or hold position. But what makes it unique and really useful is you can press any of the order buttons a second time and it'll switch between passive or aggressive modes. While in aggressive mode, the AI will go guns blazing to draw the aggro. The main rotation that you'll end up doing is throwing the AI into passive advance mode while you lay down covering fire and you draw aggro. Then you'll switch them into aggressive hold position to do the same for you, letting you get the drop on enemies and flank them. Rinse and repeat. One of the big problems I had was that the partner AI just wasn't keeping up with my weapon choices. So even though I had a silenced weapon, because it was a later game weapon, it still drew more aggro than the base weapon that the AI had. So I wasn't able to flank the enemy and kill more than maybe 2 enemies at a time before I would end up drawing all of the aggro. And while you're on the purchase screens, you don't have an option in order to kit out the AI partner and what their weapons are going to be. So you're really just relying on whatever gun the game happens to give them at the time. And it took me until about 3/4 of the way through the game to remember that I could swap weapons, and I just chose to give him a big ass LMG to draw aggro. But that of course came with the downside of using whatever gun he had. And some of the later missions are just tedious on the hardest difficulty. I got stuck for almost 2 hours on assaulting the lobby of this building in the final mission. The cover options just aren't set up for you to have any form of flanking. Enemy eye will just sort of run at you on your flanks, and for some reason I just couldn't hit them. I mean, look at this clip and tell me this isn't bullshit. It's also a little bugged out, and your partner AI just won't enter the building until after you do, even when they're set to aggressive advance, which completely eliminates the obvious strategy of staying back here and letting him draw all of the fire while you pick them off. And if you happen to go down while you're in this room, he won't even try to drag you to the obvious safety that's outside the building, instead standing out in the open and getting shot and killed. So that was pretty much just a slog, and I ended up having to give up, turn the stream off, and try again the next night. Speaking of, I usually stream every game that I review. If you're interested in joining the stream and chatting while I play, be sure to subscribe. So outside of the few gripes that I have, Army of Two is still a really good game. It's a pretty straightforward shooter, but the aggro and the upgrade systems just keep it really engaging. It's fun to replay certain missions and go in with different loadouts. It just sucks that EA forced the co-op to use their servers and you can't play the online co-op now that the servers are gone. Without it, you're kind of just stuck with being the one who has full aggro of the pair. I remember back when we would play this co-op and we would just have one person go full silencer and then the other would rock like a minigun or a shotgun and just draw all of the aggro, and then every few missions we would switch it up. Unfortunately, some of the achievements were tied to the online competitive multiplayer, and with the servers gone, those are forever locked. But I was able to at least finally beat it on the hardest difficulty and get that achievement, which felt really sweet. Strangely enough though, the achievement actually pops before the final encounters take place. And on the topic of earning that final achievement, the end of the game, it's just this final climactic battle that's ridiculous and really underbaked. From the beginning, the game is just this over-the-top spectacle shooter. It reminds me a lot of like a Michael Bay movie. And as Rios and Salem are trying to clear their name, they have to go to this SSC headquarters in Miami, so they borrow a friend's plane, but it gets shot down by the military after SSC's crazy Joker operative kills the pilots. And nowhere in the game is it explained why this guy that we've seen throughout the game suddenly has these scars.
You wanna know how I got these scars?
Rios and Salem hop into a hovercraft and they jump out of the plane to survive, and they make their way to Miami. Oh, and just to make things worse, there's a Category 5 hurricane that's hitting Miami, so everything is flooded. So the pair drive, sail? Through the airport and to SSC headquarters to find the servers to upload the evidence. Then Smiley shows up and he posts up with a sniper and delivers some really unhinged voice lines.
I'm gonna tear you up so bad, your own mama ain't gonna recognize you. No! Leave my mama out of it! I'm gonna kill you both, slice you open, and go to an aerobics class wearing your intestines for leg warmers. I mean, does that even make sense? I'm gonna kill you both, then I'm gonna drain all your blood, take out your bones, put your body in a big chair with some elves and reindeer, and sit on your lap and tell you all the cool shit I want for Christmas.
This guy clearly had a messed up childhood.
You think? Piece of this. Come and get it.
Damn! He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
And after he's taken down, Rios and Salem reach the rooftop and find Dalton, SSC's leader, who hops out into a helicopter, and it looks like we're about to have one of those good old-fashioned boss fights against him in the helicopter, but nope. Instead, Rios pulls out a javelin and blows him out of the sky. Then Rios and Salem call up their handler from SSC and tell her that they're starting their own PMC organization called Trans World Operations. And you can really tell that this game came out in 2008, because if it came out anywhere in the modern times, I don't think EA would have chosen a name like Trans World Operation. There was some DLC for this game that's sadly now lost now that Microsoft has shut down the Xbox 360 storefront. In the DLC, there was an alternate ending for the fight with Dalton, where Rios and Salem chase him into a vault and they actually have a battle against him, but he just pulls out grenade launchers and fires them at you, and it's really underbaked still, so neither ending was really all that good. EA would go on to make 2 sequels, with The 40th Day coming out in 2010 and The Devil's Cartel coming out in 2013. Both of those games are now in my backlog to play and make reviews for my channel, so if you're interested in seeing either of those, let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, if you've got any other game suggestions, let me know. Big thanks again to my channel members. If you'd like to support me, you can do so for free by clicking the like button or subscribing. If you'd like to become a channel member, you can do so for only $1 a month. I'm Ice Cold Snake. I'll see you next time.